Do you know what your children are doing on the internet? This is perhaps the scariest piece of technology for many parents out there. And a new online survey just out here in Britain reveals that primary school-age children admit they stay awake into the early hours of the morning on the internet unsupervised. That's 9 to 11-year-olds. And 1 in 5 of them say they've gone out to meet the people they've found in cyberspace. Again, alone and unsupervised. So what impact is the web having on a generation that doesn't know anything else? British film director Beeban Kidron is perhaps most famous for directing the blockbuster movie Bridget Jones. But as a mother of teens, she was frightened enough by teenage behavior to turn her cameras on them and their virtual world. And she joined me here recently to discuss her new documentary, In Real Life. Beeban Kidron, welcome to the program. What made you decide to make this documentary? It's pretty violent in every aspect.
Well, it is, but I felt that the world around me was just sort of closing in, and I suddenly realised it'd been, over a year since I had seen a young person without some sort of device in their hands. And I was walking into my own kitchen, and there were 6 young people, 6 teenagers, 1 on a computer, 1 on a game console, and 4 of them lined up on the sofa, each one like this. And I looked at the picture and I thought, well, I understand generationally why they may not be talking to me, but why aren't they talking to each other?
And it's not just about looking at their smart devices, it's about what they're doing.
It is. I think the question I started to ask myself was not, is this good or bad, but what does it change? And I think that was actually the great gift of the film, in a way, was that I was trying to see whether it was going to change what kind of human beings these young people would be.
Well, we're going to play a clip in a second, but just to say that one of the most incredible learning experiences for teenagers is about sex and sexuality, and what they're getting online is a completely distorted view in terms of pornography, right?
Absolutely. And if you think about the purpose of pornography, it's very adult, male-centered. It's very, very bad about things like consent and about gender images and so on. And if that is your entry level to what you think sex is and what is normal, think about what that means as you try and practice it in your real life.
Let's play this clip.
Big team.
What do you think about those?
Yeah, they're perfect. Like that's what you want. That's what you'd look for. You'd sort of try out a girl and get a perfect image of what you've watched on the internet.
So it's called In Real Life, your documentary, but it's clearly not about real life. I mean, after all, you and I know that porn is acting. Those kids don't know.
No, I mean, you heard him say that, and he's actually a very wonderful young man, and he's very sort of self-reflective in the end. After days spent with me, I finally say to him, I said, how do you think it changes who you are? And he turned around to me and he said, it's ruined love. It ruins love for us all. And what he describes is how the images of porn are the images that he is trying to recreate in his relationships with young women.
What about girls? What are they most affected by?
Well, I think that you have to look at the other side of that, which is that, we say a lot about advertising and celebrity, but the young women I came across are comparing themselves to pornified images of women. And I think that a lot of the sense of being rewarded on the internet for looking sexy, getting a lot more likes, being more popular, is incrementally pushing young women into a sexualized version of themselves.
In the film, you mention a statistic, 80% of young people think they can get away with bullying online as opposed to in real life. And we talk about this because every day we read more and more stories about how young people are committing suicide because of online bullying. 80% of bullies think they can get away with it.
Yeah, because it is this culture of anonymity, and I think that there is something really disturbing about feeling you can take a poke and no one will find you.
What did parents say about this? What is the big worry? I mean, I know as a parent that I worry that our kids are growing up just in a virtual reality without real relationships.
I think the thing that parents were grateful for that the film describes is this question of the technology itself being controlled, being not neutral, and being very addictive. I think that now they understand, or when they understand, that it's a reward mechanism, that it's gamified, that there's someone there pulling the strings, they feel much stronger about intervening and about saying, hang on a minute, do you realize you are being manipulated? Do you understand how your behavior is actually being, you know, there is a Svengali in the room. And I think that gives parents a lot of confidence because they feel very concerned about cutting kids off. What has been amazing is the response of teenagers.
Which is? That they blame their parents as well, right, for being too far gone on their smart devices.
Oh, yes. I mean, I could make a whole other film about the things that young people have said about their parents, about the inattention. And that's what I've ended up feeling, is like we are the inattentive generation bringing up the restless generation. And I think that's not very good for everyone, and we have to look at that. But I do think the companies have a big responsibility in this.
Well, did you get any of the companies to talk to you?
No. I mean, we all know that their line is that they're not delivering content, they're just like the
facilitating.
Facilitating a utility. And I think that's absolutely unsustainable.
Did they just refuse to talk to you?
Yes, some of them strung me along, you know, and said, oh, yes, but the day never came. Others just said, no, this is not something we can be involved in. They don't feel they have a case to answer. And I think that that's part of what we have to do next, is say, oh, yes, you do.
And what is the solution then? Who polices this?
Policing is a difficult word.
Yes, okay.
Policing
Who controls? Who monitors?
I think we have to look at it a bit like smoking. It took everybody. Yeah?
And you do say it is addictive. It's addictive like cocaine, like alcohol, like cigarettes.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not what I say. This is evidence-based. I mean, you know, they are using reward technology. The dopamine is released in your body. You must get another hit, another like, another touch.
Facebook just has announced that it is easing its restrictions on privacy, allowing teens to let anybody see their status updates and the like, not just their friends. And they say it's to give more choices. But it seems like it's really to increase the monetary remuneration for them.
Yes, of course it is. And I think, you know, enough is enough. You know, we, in every area of life, delivering things safely to the consumer is part of the bottom line. So now we have to ask Facebook to deliver these services safely.
Can I take you from the smartphone and the computer screen to the big screen?
Yeah.
Bridget Jones? You were very successful in directing Bridget Jones. There's a new book that's just come out. Darcy is Dead. Is that good or bad? Is that going to make a film or not? What's that going to do to the story?
I think Helen Fielding is a genius. How could she make Bridget Jones 3 be front page news? There was only one way, and she found it. I would have never thought of that. It's absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to see it.
Would you direct a film without Darcy in it?
Oh, of course not.
All right. Beeban Kidron, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.